poor man. His name was Phil. Okay. And I asked him, I was like, hey, thank you so much for waiting. What's your name? And this poor man, he said Phil, but for some reason, I couldn't hear shit. Staff were talking, the people in line were talking, and I just couldn't hear. Like, the microphone was so muffled, and I thought his name was Paul. I was like, Paul? Oh, I know how to spell Paul. I didn't even like double check. I just started writing P-A-U-L. Nina noticed that I said out loud. I said like, oh, Paul. So I already started writing. And Nina was like, no, honey, it's Phil. And I was like, oh, and I wasted one because I spelled his name completely wrong. So I had to use another shikishi. And my brain was just so overwhelmed and so overstimulated by everything. Like, I knew his name was Paul, but for some reason, I wrote Phin. Like, I wrote Phin, and I didn't even notice. I just, like, on auto, my hand was on autopilot, and for some reason, my hand was just completely disconnected. I was just completely disconnected from my brain, and I was just calling this poor man whose name Phil Phin, and I didn't even catch it. I didn't even catch him. Like, I didn't catch that I wrote Phin. In my mind, I thought I wrote Phil. And Nina, thankfully, thank God, looked over. She looked at the corner where I wrote the name, and she bursted out laughing. She was just like, Enna, honey, are you okay? You wrote Phin. And this was like during the time that I was still talking to this poor man named Phil, and I looked down and I'm just like, what the fuck? And the staff looked at me and they're like shaking. They're shaking their heads like, what the fuck are you doing? And like the Otakuthon staff looked at me in the eyes and they were like laughing so hard. They're like, you're so stupid. I wasted 2 shikishis on one person because the first time I couldn't hear them, and the second time I just didn't have a brain. I know. So I had to write a third one. And finally I wrote his real name. Phil. And I got it right. So at least I got his name right in the end. And you know, I told him, I was like, I wrote your name wrong twice.